Hello you guys, this is Vertigo here again with another video. We're on the ground at Denver where we ended last, flying for Virtual United again, and we're going to be going to Detroit Metropolitan, DTW. So, we're at gate Bravo 23 here at Denver. We're on VATSIM and we do have control, so that'll be fun. Looks like they have approach and tower on, so we should have pretty extensive control. We're going to be departing to the east. I'm expecting runway 8 right, or just runway 8 rather. And we're on the Eons 4 departure. It's about a 2.5, 3 hour flight depending on the winds. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're flying the PMDG 737-700, which you don't see too often. Normally you see the 800. So we'll get to fly the 700 today, which is always, I really like it. It handles nicely. It's a nifty little aircraft. Going up to flight level 370. Time here at Denver is about 9:30 local. Scheduled departure is just prior to 10 local. Using a cost index of 11, our zero fuel weight is about 109,000 pounds. Our release fuel is just under 19,000. Our alternate today is Chicago O'Hare. For things that I might be missing, it looks like we're going to have a tailwind for most of the flight, which will be nice. It means we'll arrive sooner. Cost index is 11, if I haven't mentioned that. We're here on the United Terminal at Denver. Rec soft clouds being injected by Active Sky. And yeah, the weather is pretty nice. I mean, I'm sure it'll be bumpy here out of Denver, as it always is, but it's not like there's storms or significant wind. Ground power is already connected to the aircraft. It's powered. So all we'll need to do when we get in the flight deck is allow them to board and then get clearance and do the pre-flight. So if I'm missing anything, you're welcome to ask. If you have questions. Easy dock for the camera. Our departure, yeah, is going to be out to the east, so it's in our direction of flight. And it should be a fun flight. So without further ado, let us get into the flight deck.
All right, guys, welcome into the flight deck of the Boeing 737. We've boarded, and so passengers and their baggage and so forth are on board. The jetway's been pulled and the doors are closed, so we're getting ready to go here pretty soon. Still need to do the pre-flight procedure, but what we can do now is we can call up for clearance to Denver Tower. And we have ATIS information, Kilo currently, altimeter 3037. The wind is 110 at 7 knots. They're departing runways 8, 17 right, and 25. So, yeah, let's give them a call, get our clearance, and we will get on out of here. Tower's on 133.3. Denver Tower, good afternoon. United 1249 with information, Kilo, IFR to Detroit.
United 1249 Denver Tower, you're cleared to Detroit Airport via the Eons 5 departure, then as filed. Climb via the SID, departure frequency 120.35, squawk 0611.
United 1249 is cleared to Detroit, Eons 5 departure. Climb via SID, departure 120.35, squawk 0611.
United 1249, read back correct. Expect runway 8 for departure. Push it at your discretion.
Roger, we'll give you a call for taxi, United 1249. Okay, so we got our clearance. We got our squawk code, which is, we can come put this in the pedestal down here. 0611. Wrote that down as he gave it to us. He gave us our departure frequency, 120.35. We'll put this in the standby. And with that done, we have our clearance, and all that remains is to do the rest of the pre-flight. So I'll get on that, and I will see you guys as we're getting ready to push and start. Alrighty, so the pre-flight is done. We're just about ready to go. So let us run the pre-flight checklist. Instrument transfer and display switches, auto and normal. Window heat, on. Pressurization mode selector is auto. Flight instruments are set. Parking brake is set. Engine start levers are cut off. Pre-flight checklist is complete. And so we can call over the ground crew here, get ready for push and start. It looks like we're going to want to be nose to the nose left here, off of Bravo 23. And we'll get handling by United. So, let's open up our fuel pumps. Our ground connections are already clear. Turn on the anti-collision light. The packs are off. And we can run the before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. Fuel, 18.8 thousand pounds, pumps on, passenger signs on. Windows are locked. MCP is set. Takeoff speeds are set. CDU pre-flight completed. Rudder and aileron trim free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing. Let's go over that real quick. Taxi will be at Bravo November Mike for departure off 8. Runway 8, if we have any issues under 80 knots, we'll stop. Any issues over 80 knots, we only stop for an engine failure or fire. Once we're at V1, we are committed. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Anti-collision lights on, before start checklist complete. We'll set our transponder to auto.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
And we'll release our brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
And we'll start engine number 2. See good indications. N2 is rising nicely. N1 slowly creeping up. Oil pressure is rising. Oil temperature is rising. All good indications. 25% N2, 2.5% N1 will feed fuel. And fuel is into engine number 2. There goes the starter cutout. Start valve is closed. We got good start on number 2, starting number 1. Fuel into engine number 1.
Set parking brakes.
And our brakes are set. Engine number 1 coming up nicely.
Unlocking gear.
There goes the starter cutout. And the start valve is closed. We got good starts on both engines.
Bypass pin removed.
Running on the engine gens, we can get rid of the APU and the APU bleed. Packs can come on, isolation valve can go to auto, electric hydraulics coming on, probe heat coming on. Engine start switches to continuous. We'll set our flaps for takeoff. We're flaps 1. Set our trim for takeoff. We should have 5.34 units.
Left is clear. Right.
Roughly right there on the takeoff trim. And with that done, let us have a check of the flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Flight controls are checked, all looks well there. And we can run the before taxi checklist. Generators on, probe heat on, anti-ice is off. Isolation valve auto. Engine start switch is continuous. Recall is checked. Auto brake RTO. Engine start levers idle detent. Flight controls are checked. Ground equipment is clear before taxi checklist complete. So let's call up for taxi for runway 8. And we have information kilo still. United 1249 with kilo taxi.
United 1249, runway 8, taxi via Bravo November Mike.
Bravo November Mike, United 1249. Okay, so we're out to runway 8 via Bravo November Mike. We'll release the brakes, and we'll get on over to the runway. Alright guys, welcome back. Just approaching the runway here, we'll get our weather radar on. We can arm our auto throttle. Set our transponder to TARA. And at this point we're just waiting on clearance to go, which he'll give to us. So before takeoff checklist, flaps 1 green light, stabilizer trim 5.34 units before takeoff checklist complete. United 1249 holding short, runway 8 fully ready.
United 1249, wind 110 at 7, runway 8, clear for takeoff.
Runway 8 cleared for takeoff, United 1249. Okay, we're cleared, lights are on, strobes on. We'll start the clock. And we're ready to go. I might have just made the mistake of saying runway 8 right, and if I did, I'm a complete idiot. For some reason I keep wanting to say runway 8 right, and I might have just called him saying we're holding short 8 right. Maybe I got it right. Either way, it doesn't much matter. Let's get out of here. Stable, takeoff. N1, LNAV, VNAV armed, toga. Power set, airspeed alive. .80 knots, thrust hold. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. LNAV. N1 VNAV speed. Alrighty, and we'll just hold this heading
United
here on the
1249,
departure.
contact departure. Have a good day.
Departure United 1249, thanks, good day. Speed checked, flaps up. Autopilot's in, gear off, auto brake off. Departure, good afternoon, United 1249, 9.2.
United 1249, Denver approach. I've got you at 9.3 now, is that correct?
Affirmative, now we're showing 9.5, but yeah, we're just over 9,000 feet.
United 1249, Denver approach. Radar contact. Climb maintain flight level 230.
Flight level 240, United 1249. $10,000 feet, lights going off.
United 491, expect clearance, ILS 16, left approach at Surfner.
Okay, after takeoff checklist, engine bleeds on, packs, auto,
Yeah,
landing
sure,
gear up
okay,
and
that's
off,
121.
flaps up, no lights. After takeoff checklist complete. And we're cleared up to 240, through 10,000 feet, accelerating. Yeah, it's Colorado for you. It's pretty barren, to be honest. There's not a ton to see.
United 491, approach must clear at ILS runway 16, left approach.
I'll take left approach, United 491.
Transition altitude's in about 4,000 feet here. You can see center pumps are dry. We'll give those a close. We're climbing out quite quickly, although it is a bit bumpy, as is to be expected here at Denver. Some nice looking clouds coming up as well. The Rex soft clouds look very, very nice. And then as we're coming up on 240, unless center comes online, which they currently aren't, he'll send us over to advisory, which is 122.8, and we'll climb ourselves up to flight level 370. Right, there we go, we're just through 18,000. Standardize the altimeter.
United 1249, Denver approach is offline at this time and leave my airspace. So, frequency changes approved, now it's Unicron, have a good flight today.
Frequency change approved, United 1249. Thanks for the help, have a great day. And up to 370 we go. We're on advisory and we're off to Detroit. Guys, welcome back in on the flight deck. We're a little over 160 miles from top of descent, actually a little less than 150. We're at 156. You can see we have 116 knot tailwind. We're getting pushed a lot, and we've been getting, this has actually decreased a bit. It was even stronger earlier, so we're really getting pushed by a rather significant tailwind, so it's been a quick trip, but as you can see we're getting bumped around a little bit up here as well because of the tailwind behind us. Let's go ahead and prepare for our descent though, since it's coming up pretty soon. If we take a look at the weather in Detroit, I'll pull up a METAR right now. The wind right now is 210 at 10, so we'll be landing to the southwest on runway 22 left. Good visibility, not too many clouds to speak of. Temperature is 13, altimeter is 29 or 901, so it's a little chilly up there too, which is nice. So runway will be 22 left. Let us first set the pressurization panel. There we go, sorry, Easy Dock just got stuck there for a minute. Landing altitude at Detroit is, take a look here, approximately 650 feet, so we will set that. 650 is set. At this point, let us set the ILS frequency and course. Here we are. So 22 left, the identifier is India Delta Whiskey Charlie, which is a frequency of 110.7. And the inbound course is 215. Alright, so that is now set. We have 12,000 feet of runway, so we'll use an auto brake of 1. Actually, stand by on that. Let me take a look. We're arriving, our arrival gate is Delta 1. Let's take a look at the ground chart here for Detroit. I see the Delta gates down here. Basically what that means is the further that we roll down that runway, the longer of a taxi it ends up being. So, because of that, an auto brake of 3 would be overkill. We'd burn the brakes out. But we can use an auto brake of 2, given that we'd like to slow down a bit sooner rather than later, since our gate, we're getting further away from our gate the longer that we continue that roll. The minimums are 837 feet on the barometric altimeter, so we can set that. Bug that on up and you can see the barometric minimums rising down there as I bug this wheel up. 837 on the minimums is now set. Let us brief the arrival and the approach. So we're on the Polar 5 arrival, the Badger transition. From over the Badger Vortac via the Badger 078 radial to Perny, then via the... What VOR is that? Basically, we're inbound to, after Perny, we're inbound to Ammo. They're referencing a VOR that I'm not seeing on the chart. Obviously, it's there. The Foxtrot November Tango, oh, the Flint. Okay, the Flint 291 radial to Monkey at flight level 230 to Butter. From Butter to Ammo, right-hand turn to Polar at 12,000 feet. And then inbound from Polar to from over Polar via the Detroit 343 radial to Scooby. Sorry, this chart is kind of a mess. And then we'll vector ourselves after Scooby on the final approach course for 22 left. We actually take a look at that in the plan mode here, the map, and we zoom out. We can step through each of these fixes. There's the Badger VOR to Zippy to Perny. After Perny to Monkey at 230 to Butter to Ammo to Polar to Scooby, and then you can see the final approach is right here. So after Scooby we'll fly a base leg, basically a 90-degree angle, and then we'll turn to intercept, and it looks like the intercept course is roughly 20-30 miles or so from Scooby. So we'll have to vector ourselves in that sense, but that's not too bad, and if we have control on, all the better. I doubt we will. 2-2 left, nothing crazy about it. If we do need to go mist, we're climbing to 3,000 on a 215 heading. So basically runway heading to 3,000 feet if we have to go mist. Beyond all that, we're pretty well briefed at this point. We can go ahead and enter our landing speed at this point, and yeah, and then we'll be briefed. We can run the checklist. So if we take a look, we have 10,000 pounds on board, estimated to have 8,000 at Detroit, so we'll make this 117.4, which will give us flaps 30 and a landing speed of 127 knots. So pretty low landing speed, which will be nice. Can really kind of glide the plane down. That'll be pleasant. So yeah, we're in good shape. We're ready to descend. Let us run the descent checklist. Pressurization, landing altitude 650 feet. Recall. Checked. Auto brake 2. Landing data VREF. 127. Minimums Barrow 837. Approach briefing completed. Descent checklist complete. So yeah, we're ready to start down. See, we're a little over 80 miles out. And we'll start that descent soon. I'll see you guys as we're getting near Detroit. Back in the flight deck. So we're just coming up on polar here, where we will cross at 12,000 feet. As you can see, we're actually in some cloud as well. We'll be clear of this little this moisture shortly. It's not like a cell or anything. So we're gonna hit 12,000. I'll continue to descend us down. We can run the approach checklist real quick, which is very simple. Altimeters 29er, 9er 1 set. Approach checklist complete. We'll get our lights at 10,000 feet. And here after Scooby, which is just out in front of us, make a left-hand turn, probably on a 150 heading, maybe a 160 heading, and we'll fly that until we intercept until we're fairly close to the approach course there, and then we'll turn to final. So yeah, not too much longer, about 30 miles from the runway. So yeah, we'll be arriving soon. So reducing speed down to 180 here, just about to hit the localizer. You can see the glide slope is alive as well. The localizer's moving. We're about 10 miles from the runway. We're in pretty good shape. So you could probably see a little bit there in the video. Had to reduce our speed down again, bumped around quite a lot, had to tinker with the vertical speed. But engine start switches are continuous now, and we're looking good, sitting pretty, I'd say. Altimeter has changed, it's now 299er3, we'll set that. We got the localizer captured.
2500.
Radio altimeter is alive. We can get on some lights here. Assume that we've been cleared. There is no ATC though, so we kind of have to make that assumption on our own. Don't believe there are any planes here at Detroit that will be landing or departing as we're coming in. Yeah, no, we'll be the only ones. It's a glide slope, gear down, spoilers armed, flaps 15. And we have a 28 knot crosswind right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, the wind is 250 at 12 gusting 19er, so insane weather, like really, really ridiculous weather. Wow, that's our runway. You can see the crab that we have right now. That's really insane. Well, this will be interesting, I suppose. We'll be 128, and then we'll add a solid 10 knots or so to that, so we'll make it 138 for our landing speed. Can reduce down to that now, 138. And the wind's kicking up more, even. Wow. Yeah, this is not what the METAR is reporting. Holy cow. Right then, flaps 30. The missed approach altitude is 3,000 feet, that is set. All of our lights are on and our speed is set. So landing checklist, engine start switches continuous, speed brake armed, landing gear down, flaps 30, green light, landing checklist complete. Thousand feet checked. Alright, now the wind's dying down a little bit on us there. Just a bit. Continue to let the autopilot fly it in, and then I'll take control here in a moment. My aircraft. Flight directors can go out. Auto throttle can go out. Continue to work that crab a bit. Landing. Just let it settle. There we go. And we're down. That was interesting. Reversers are green. Decel. 80. center 60, we can get off to the left here, I think. Can we make this turn? Yeah, we got it. Let's swing tight left here to vacate at Victor. And we are down safely. That was actually kind of fun to fly there. Get the crab right. Bring the flaps in, we'll clean up the aircraft. We can stop the clock. That was a 2 hour and 13-minute flight. And we'll taxi in Legate via Kilo, which is this next taxiway up ahead of us. So we've set our transponder to standby. Auto brake, speed brake flaps are taken care of. Our lights are off. APU's been started. We stopped the clock. Flight directors, weather radar are off. We're all cleaned up. We're taxiing in Legate Delta 1. And yeah, that was fun. It was a good time. I wasn't expecting that, but it was a pleasant surprise. So yeah, see you guys at the gate. Alrighty, and we are parking up. See Gate Delta 1 here with the United logo on the jetway. Not sure if you guys caught that. We're running on the APU gens at this point. Set our brakes, can cut the engines. Get rid of the yaw damper, close up some of these fuel pumps. Passenger signs can go off, beacon light can go off. I don't think the jetway moves. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's open some doors, get some ground connections going. There we go. Can release the brakes. Deboard and run. The shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps are off, probe heat off, hydraulic panel set, flaps up, parking brake not required, engine start levers cut off, weather radar off, shutdown checklist complete. And here we are, all cleaned up, safely down at Detroit.
Alright guys, welcome back. So that was a fun flight from Denver to Detroit. I've never done that flight before. Another flight with VirtualUA, Virtual United, is completed, and as you see the guys deboarding the aircraft here. Yeah, that crosswind on the landing really caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. So it was fun. It was a pleasant surprise actually once we got the aircraft down safely. Probably wouldn't have been quite so pleasant if things hadn't gone that well, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. I know I had a good time. Fun control out of Denver by the guys there at Denver RTAC. They did a great job. I actually do have my next few flights planned out, so next we're going to be doing a short hop from Detroit here over to Chicago O'Hare, and then we're going to be going from Chicago O'Hare to Newark. And I believe I'm taking the A320 to O'Hare, and then taking I'm not sure, it might be another A320 to Newark. I'm not sure, I'll have to take a look. But we're going to O'Hare after this and then to Newark. And then we'll see where we go from there. So you have that to look forward to. But at any rate, I hope you guys had a fun time. Hope you enjoyed the flight. As always, you know, likes, comments, feedback, positive or negative, as long as it's constructive, is totally welcomed, is much appreciated. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that kind of wraps it up. As always, you know, links to social media and Twitch are in the description if that interests you at all. And yeah. So that covers us. I hope you guys hope you enjoyed the flight, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.